This is the overall flow of the presentation today. The case, the Latin American market, country attractiveness analysis, market entry decision, appendices. I will first be going through an overview of the case. The case is about the company All Star Brands. It is a multinational consumer products company with three major divisions: ethical drugs, consumer healthcare, consumer products. It is primarily located in developed major markets like Western Europe, North America, Australia. Though it is performing well, but these mature markets are competitive and has slow growth, so the company needs to take the opportunity and grow in new developing markets. As a result, this presentation is to analyze which Latin American countries can All Star Brands expand into. From Argentina, Brazil, Chile, Colombia, Mexico, Peru, and Venezuela, our long-term goal is to, in 10 years' time, the All Star Brands should have presence in 6 countries, achieve significant market share and profit, and have production facilities in at least one of the countries. I will first give an overview of the Latin markets before I move on to the 8 factors for consideration. These are 7 Latin countries that we will be analyzing. I will discussing the 4 important elements of the Latin markets: export infrastructure, instability, potential. The Latin economy is export-based. Many countries in the region are major sources of precious metal and mineral. As such, Latin's economy is reliant on global commodity price. Infrastructure is regarded as subpar when compared to other economies with similar income levels. Importantly, Brazil's sharp recession as well as Venezuela's inflation that has scored close to 100% are some economic problems faced by the region. This has also led to political problems and desire for change. Regardless of the problems, Latin is a region with plenty of untapped potential. The region is young, with 1/4 of the Latin population are aged between 15 and 29. Here are also some figures as of 2019 of the 7 countries. The one box in the red are the best performing countries. Now that we have looked at an overview of the Latin market, we will dive into the country's attractiveness analysis. Here are the 8 factors we will be discussing about in order of priority. I will now go through the factors in order of importance. This is the summary of the analysis that I will explain more towards the end of the presentation. Each country has been rated based on the 8 factors, and a score computed for comparison. The first factor is the ease of doing business. The ease of doing business index captures several essential elements of doing business in a new country. This is the most important factor to consider because this would contribute the most toward the cost of setting up the business in a new country. As you can see, Chile is ranked the highest, followed by Mexico and Colombia. Brazil, Argentina, and Venezuela are the worst performing. The second factor is the level of human development. The Human Development Index, or HDI, is chosen to show the level of human development of the country. It measures things like life expectancy, education, and per capita income. This is the second most important factor because demand is the primary driving force for operating profit. Chile again has the highest score at 0.847, followed close by Argentina. Then rest all scored poorly with Venezuela the worst at 0.726. The third factor is the level of inflations in the exchange rate, calculated for a 5 year period of year end 2020. This is important as even if costs are low and demand is strong, money earned would be in the host currency. This is why it's one of the top ranked factors to assess country attractiveness. Peru is highly stable at 30% with Chile next. Brazil, Argentina, and Venezuela has a huge fluctuation, which markets them too risky to invest in. The fourth factor is the healthy expenditure of the country. The Healthy Expenditure Index is provided by World Bank and shows estimates of how much residents of the country spend on health care. This shows a good estimation of the demand for all star brands in the country. The more highly ranked the country, the more likely the demand would be higher for all-star brands' consumer healthcare products. Brazil has the best score, followed by Chile and Colombia. The fifth factor is the quality of overall infrastructure. The quality of overall infrastructure index completed by the World Economic Forum is chosen as a gauge for the effectiveness of the country's infrastructure. Having good infrastructure in the country where all star brands plan to operate in is important, as it facilitates business transactions can add cost. Examples include transport cost. This is an important cost consideration we cannot forget. The infrastructure would be determined how efficiently all star brands can operate in the country. Chile scored the highest, followed by Mexico. The rest has bad scores. The sixth factor is the level of urbanization of the country. Urbanization shows a strong relationship with income and purchasing power, which is reflective of potential demand. Research shows that urban residents are more likely to spend more on the healthcare products than rural residents. The data show Venezuela, Argentina, Chile, and Brazil have highly urbanized population. The seventh factor is the economic outlook of the country. Economic outlook for the country is an important consideration. It is reflective of the general level of business activity in the economy and the purchasing power of the residents of that country. Reflective of the potential demand in the country, we will look at the country's economic outlook in order of performance. Overall, Colombia and Chile are the best two countries in terms of economic outlook, while Peru and Argentina are the worst two. The last factor is the purchasing power of residents in the country. This is measured by GDP per capita. GDP per capita measured the wealth of the nation and tracks the amount of GDP that each citizen contributes. Chile and Argentina has two of the highest GDP per capita among the seven countries. Now that we have covered the factors in detail, we will look at the market entry decision to be made by all-star brands. Again, a score was calculated for the countries across all eight factors. First, factors were first ranked in order of importance. Second factor were then give and weight each. Third, for each factor, the countries were ranked in order from 1 to 7. Lastly, the score are then totaled up across countries to get the final score. The calculations is shown in the above table, and as we can see, Chile performed the best. This leads us to our entry roadmap. Note that Venezuela was omitted, for it performed badly for most of the factors and received an aggregate score of 2.7, which is very far from the rest. With that, I shall conclude the presentation with this entry roadmap proposed for all star brands. Thank you very much.